It may be the biggest game of the season to date as fierce rivals South Hobart and Hobart Jeep Zebras do battle for 3 crucial points. A loss for either club could see them crash out of the title race. A draw could see them both fall out of the title race. So much riding on today's clash at Darcy Street. I'm Damien Gilt from FFT, bringing this one live to you with the best in the business, the Drewster Rooster, Andrew Cooling, back from a little hiatus over at the Uni Games. How are you, big fella?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Bounced back pretty well from Uni Games and very excited to be here at Darcy Street for this cracking contest. And the stakes, as you've put it out nice there, really couldn't be higher. If either of these teams want to chase down getting 3 points, absolutely vital today. We speak of 6-pointers, this is a 6-point match in the classic sense of it, and there is no doubt these two sides are going to be going hammer and tong out there today. They know what's at stake. It's a pretty good day, I've got to say here. The sun's shining. I thought looking over the river earlier that we might be in for a bit of a wet and wild type affair, but it seems to have cleared up, which should provide pretty good conditions for football. Yeah,
I'm with you, Drewster. From the sunny side of the river, it looked like over here on the western shore it was quite wet and wild, but it's cleared up nicely, and all bodes well for what should be a cracking spectacle. Big crowd piling in. As you said, it doesn't get much bigger than this in terms of what's on the line. Both clubs need the 3 points, and they know it. Of course, Olympia yesterday taking victory away from Northern Rangers sees them 8 points ahead of South Hobart at the top of the tree and 9 points ahead of Hobart Zebras. So a loss for either of the teams realistically puts them out of calculations. A draw could realistically see both out of the calculations. So it's delicately poised for what should be a cracking contest. It didn't need the added spice, but it did get some added spice midweek, Drewster, with Zebras bringing in 2 big recruits for a late season surge. The inclusion of former Cameroonian international Guy Bwele and a returning Tasmanian and a quality player in his own right in James Sherman. Just to add to a bit of an embarrassment of riches for the Zebras. Interesting to see, we'll get on the lineups in a little bit, but a little teaser, neither are named in the starting 11.
Yeah, I thought it would be quite a short turnaround to rock up the club this week and go straight into the lineup for such a big game against South Hobart, but I'd certainly expect to see them off the bench. I'd be shocked if they both didn't get some minutes today, but fairly handy at this time of the year just to be able to call in a couple of players like that, bolstering your squad after the Rego window have closed. But of course those two, not having been signed up, still eligible, and some very shrewd business there, you've got to say. Just adding them, just that little bit of extra punch for their title push, and could well that be the difference today between those two sides, because there isn't a lot between them. We've seen all year, there's a reason they're so tight on points. Both have had little periods affected by injury, but really there's been very little separating these two all year. We've seen that the previous times that they've met, and I expect today to be another close one. You certainly wouldn't expect this one to be decided until the final moment of the game.
You're right, Drewster. We might get on the lineups if Big Ash Wilkes has got them prepped. I'm not 100% sure where we're at. He's just gearing those up, but all bodes well. I've just noticed, and we'll get on the lines first of all, because Ash, the wonderful work that he does, has prepped them. South Hobart pretty well lining up as expected. Kane Pearce in goal. The defence will likely be Matt Lewis at right back, Dan Brown and Oscar Thomas as the centre halves, and Hugh Ludford at left back. Made his way back through injury last week to take on the Knights. Both Dan Brown and Matt Lewis come in under slight injury clouds. Of course, Lewis injured from a challenge last week from Teddy Kadisha for the Knights, and Dan Brown hurt his hammy at training. Both seem to have got through, but we'll watch on there. It's an interesting defence, Drewster, in the sense that they're all probably natural centre-backs.
Yeah, obviously we see Lewis as a fullback for large parts, but very much all capable of playing in centre half, and indeed all 4 have played there at times this year. So it will be interesting. Will they have as much going forward as they do defensively? You'd expect defensively them to be very solid, but will they provide perhaps the overlap that we've seen from the likes of Young Quayle and Schmidt earlier in this year? We're not sure, but they're 4 very good defenders, and they'll be very tough to break down.
Exactly right. On to their midfield. Kobe Kemp has been a staple there, and he'll line up there. Probably one of their most important players and one of their best players this season. Hugh Undy will be in there, and the electric pace of Alex Walter also. Up top, you'll see Chris Hunt, the wing commander, who's been a little out of sorts. They'll be looking for something from him today. Alex Lazinski, the big, powerful brute in centre forward. Of course, playing against his former club. He didn't get to play them the first time around this season. He'll have a fair bit to prove this afternoon. I think he's been a massive inclusion over the last month or so, provided plenty for them. And on the other flank, you'll see Braden Mann. Don't need to say too much about Braden Mann. Back-to-back golden boots in the first 2 seasons of the Victory League. Mitsubishi medalist last year. A player of immense quality. On the bench, Quayle, Stevens, Darcy Hall, who's a very talented player, Alfred Hess, and Mark Moncur. On to the Zebras. Drewster, take us through them.
Got Graham Wright, the experienced custodian in goals. Jaden Hay, such a key man, isn't he, having some sort of season, number 3. Tyler Harrison, the young centre-back, is really impressed. You'd imagine he'll play alongside Henry Fagg at the heart of defence. Number 5, Harrison Thomas, moved midway through the season at Zebras, and it's just slotted beautifully into that midfield. He's been a real key playmaker for them. Number 6, Jordan Muller, very reliable player, does his job in central midfield week in, week out, keeps it simple, does the basics really well. I've enjoyed watching him this year. Number 7, Ricky Self, play out on the right wing, and he's a flashy type. Certainly look for him to have an impact, getting at perhaps the slightly maybe slower fullbacks that South Hobart might have today. That could be some area that they can look to exploit. Number 9, Dwayne Walsh, a favourite of mine, just been in outstanding form this year. Really offers a lot going forward from that fullback position. And speaking of offering a lot, number 11, Kurt Engels, probably the key man in this side for mine for Zebras. He's a real player of quality, and there's no doubt that in an attacking sense, he's going to be asked to create plenty for their strikers to finish today. Rounded off with number 13, the fullback, Matthias Toghill, and number 14 will be playing up top in Adam McEwen, and he has been banging goals in recently too.
He has indeed. Look at that bench, Drewster.
Some quality there. Number 2, David Cox, will probably be seen if they need a defensive substitute, but I'd be expecting this man, number 10, Guy Buele, to come on and play some part in the game. Just
so much intrigue about Guy Buele.
Yes.
I mean, he's played across the globe.
At least, well, is it Guy Buele? Or, there's been the mix-up with the names.
Yeah,
which one is it?
Well, we don't know who he is, and he's 31 years of age. He looks a touch older than that, if I'm to be judgmental. But I'm looking forward to see his quality. Of course, he's going to be a quality player. He played in Sarawak, top division in Malaysia. He'll be a quality player. Looking forward to seeing him come off the bench with a bit of swagger. I tell you what, he was at the press conference midweek, and he just took it so casually. They said, they asked him the first question, fired at him, said, happy to be here in Hobart? Yes. Didn't give him much more than that. I'm expecting to see him just really play it simple, but play it well this afternoon off the bench. Also, James Sherman, a quality player. He's been playing his trade over in England. He's been over there for some 5 years, so he's back in his native state and back at his childhood club in the Zebras. Also, Callum Griffin on the bench is another real tenacious type in midfield.
What a game to make your return after 5 years. Just a slightly big occasion to rejoin the fray. Second versus third, effectively an elimination game for whoever loses it. High stakes to just stroll back in after 5 years abroad.
Yeah, absolutely. And the big games call out the big guns, and that's what we've got with the referee, Kim Possible Barker. There's no better in the business over many, many years of just dominating the referee landscape. He takes the middle
He's well on his way to another ref of the year, I'd imagine, from what I've seen. Kimmy Possible this year, been pretty good.
Yeah, he hasn't been too bad. Eugene Rosenwig, rather than Jimmy Hordle, will partner him there. That looks like there's been a referee change. And Josh McInerney, as well as the refs shake hands. Always never really got that, but anyway. And both teams are in their huddles, Drew, so we are ready for a massive clash. Both teams lining up as expected. I think, although it looks like Kurt Engels might be at the back. Interesting. I might just be seeing things. No, I'm just seeing things. Yeah, having a word. So it'll be back four of Walsh, Harrison, Fagg, Toghill, midfield. You'll see Muller. He's flies on the radar. Good player though. Hay, Harrison Thomas, of course, former South Hobart player who have plenty to prove. And then you got McEwen in the middle, Engels one side, Self the other. And South Hobart back four of Ludford, Brown, Thomas, Lewis, midfield of, it looks like maybe Hunt in there with Kemp and Undy, and then Mann, Lazinski and Walter.
Yeah, some pretty good attacking talent out there today. We'll get a quick tip before we go here. I'm going to go 2-1 South Hobart and a narrow result. Yours, David?
2-2. And we are underway here at Darcy Street. South Hobart with the ball. Slazinski against his former club. Pokes it wide and finds Walter. He's got pace. He puts it in the middle looking for Undy. Tyler Harrison sees this one away with a clearance. From Brown to the skipper, Ludford back in this side. Walter takes a touch and he's clipped by Jordan Muller, and it'll be an early foul and a free kick for South Hobart.
So interesting to see Ludford lining up at right back. Matthew Lewis shifted back into left back. We weren't too sure how they were going to line up with the 4 centre backs, but Lewis has played left back on a few occasions this year, so he slides back in there today. Embarrassment of riches with centre backs, really. So first free kick of the day is whipped in. Walter got it on Henold. Will it fall for Lazinski? He turns, but he's well covered by the Zebras defence, and they snuffed that out. But he'll be a real factor today. Lazinski is arguably the form player in the comp over the last month. He was injured in the first part of the season, but has really come back as Self can't quite get around man there, and he'll go back to Walsh in turn. Plays it back to Self. He'll go back into midfield, and they'll switch things up now to Toghill down the left. So just patiently stroking about. This is the Zebras' way. They're never particularly in a rush. They like to build and play good football. Both of these teams play good style. It should make for an aesthetic contest, if nothing else, as South Hobart will hack it out here to the left, where Mann gets it under control and now sprays it back here. What can they do? They'll look to move forward. Lazinski's in the middle. Can he pick him out? It's blocked well by Walsh, and the Zebras will repel.
Good crowd in, Drewster, really building for a mouth-watering clash as this one's tipped out of play and will be a Zebras throw. Dwayne Walsh, you mentioned him, he's a key figure in that defence, because not only can he do it defensively, he can really just get down the flank and overload a defence. So hopefully for Zebra's case, he can do that today as Wright plays out to the skipper and Fag. Fag and Hay a lot through the season, just swapping between midfield and defence depending on the opposition. He plays it back to Wright. Zebras in no hurry. Tyler Harrison, fresh off a week training with Melbourne Victory, plays forward, receives back from Harrison Thomas. Oh, Muller sells Tyler Harrison into a bit of trouble. He's up to it. Wright sees clear, but he gives it straight to Walter. What can the South Hobart winger do now? Plays wide for Lazinski. Back for Undy. He's got to navigate. Hay, he can't. Hay stands up, wins the ball. Forward now for Engels. He gives and goes. It's from McEwen to Hay, and Hay has pace to burn, but not enough to race this one down as it goes out of play and out for a throw-in. Interesting, Drewster, just a quick one. The Nets here at South Hobart, little upgrade. They've got a bit of red through them.
Yeah, well, with Albie Lazinski rounding back to this team, probably a good time, because he has smacked many a window on that canteen in recent times. So probably a good idea. I reckon the people working down there in the canteen are a little sick of the ball flying their way, so probably a nice little upgrade. South Hobart started slightly stronger, but it's been pretty even throughout the first 3 minutes here. No one really threatening. Zebras will look to get forward down this left-hand side with Henry Fag marauding forward. He waits for something to present itself. Everyone backing off here. Not a lot of pressing from South early, and now he looks to nip it in behind, but Dogger Brown was wise to that, and he just lobs it forward all the way to right. A little bit wasteful there from Brown. He's looking, hit some feet, but Harrison will take it away. So a real slow tempo to this one to start, Yelly. It's perhaps two teams that know what's at stake and are just feeling each other out at the moment.
I was about to say exactly that, Drewster. They're feeling each other out because they know they can't just let this one glide by them. They really need to give their best effort this afternoon because there's just so much on the line as Muller turns round. Hunt plays well to Self. He's getting back into the type of football we've known from Self. It's Harrison Thomas in midfield. In the bullseye he goes. Intervention from Hunt. Wins it for South Hobart for an instant, but Toghill's involved. He breezes by one in Walter. Hunt almost tries to cut it off, but it goes out to Engels. Engels sprays a cross in from the left. It's cut off from Thomas. He looks to get it out in front of himself. Pressure coming from Lewis. Good sliding tackle. It's from Muller to Self. Does well to navigate his marker and goes back for Toghill. Self again. Back for Tyler Harrison. We've seen this patient build. Goes forward for Sunday McEwen. Back now for Muller. And Fag. In the bullseye they go. Just guides it by Lazinski to find Hay. Hay forward for Self. Oh, it's nipped off his heels by Oscar Thomas. Back now for Tyler Harrison. 1-2. Real patient stuff here, Drewster.
Yeah, and they go all the way back to the keeper now, so just keeping hold of the ball, not wanting to give it away to South Hobart. It's been a very cagey opening here at Darcy Street. No real clear-cut chance. But Zebra's doing a good job monopolising the ball, but not really in threatening areas yet, and they've turned it over. Can South Hobart hit him on the break? Lazinski played in there by man, but it was well snuffed out by Tyler Harrison, who's had a terrific season there. The young centre-back has really cemented himself as one of the premier young defenders in this competition. This one is launched long. Brown beaten in the air, and here's now Thomas. He turns inside. Kemp cutting back, and Lewis is across to deal with it. And they thought they'd done with it, but a nice little bit of play there from Hay charging through the middle. Didn't amount to anything, and South Hobart looked to hit him on the break. Here's man out wide on the left. He looks up, assesses his options, plays centrally for Lazinski. Oh, turned it beautifully, brings it down, but he just lost his footing. But some good work by the big fella Lazinski. Earns his side a corner. A really strong turn on Henry Fagg there, but there were two players back for Zebras to block the shot, but he showed he's going to be a real factor already, Lazinski.
Yeah, he will be, up against his former club, of course. They know him well. He was there as recently as last season. There's a few in there, actually. Harrison Thomas, of course, crossed this year. Hunt with the corner. It's propelled in. Oh, it's won by Brown, but it's down, and man gets onto it. Oh, my Lord, I'll have to watch the replay. I'm not sure what went on. It was chaos at back post. I think the man wrapped his boot around it and spelt towards the back, and I think Andy's latched onto it and just tapped home from within close range. We'll need a replay, Drewster.
It was a mad scramble at the back post. Really smart thinking here by Mann. He just said, you know what, we're going to smash it across the face and see what happens. The sea of bodies there. It takes a deflection off Engels, I think, initially.
Thomas tried to clear.
A bunch of players trying to get a foot on. It's a scramble. I think it is Andy who's got the touch on it. Andy's got the final touch and just scrambled it home. It was absolute chaos at the back post. South Hobart don't mind. It's not the prettiest goal, but they've got the lead. Zebras looking to hit back immediately through Thomas, and they'll get inside of Kemp here, though. And he's shaped to shoot. Lays it off for Sunday McCune. He's immediately surrounded. Oh, well defended there by Brown. He and Hunt cutting him out, so didn't want to concede immediately. Now Lazinski's turned his man. He looks to feed in man in some space. Will it beat him out of play, or can the frontman get there? He can't. South Hobart have got the lead and pressing there for a second. It's the first real meaningful attack either side have had today. Been a very cagey opening, but the first test of the day failed by the Zebras defence, and South Hobart will be happy. And now it's going to be up to Zebras to make the running in this one as they try and chase this game. Here's Engels. Couldn't get around his marker, and then Brown lobs it up to the head of Lazinski. I think this might be a common theme. Really playing a typical target man's role so far, and this one's a wild pass from Sunday McCune. Way out of the reach of Self, and South Hobart will take the throw on the left through Lewis. They might have just woken the Zebras up here. They've been a slow starting side this year. If you're going to have one real knock on them, they've conceded quite a few early goals. It's often taken that to wake them up. But you don't want to be giving up leads to sides like South Hobart at Darcy Street. Tough to come back. Thomas nods down away from McEwen and bounces past Thomas in the midfield, and South Hobart will shift to the wing commander. He's got two to beat. He turns inside, then wisely lays it back to Lewis. Goes the direct route over the top to man, but well done by Fagg. He got back and got a head on it. It was a delightful ball from Lewis on the left. Man making a dangerous run. Again they go quick to the front. Lazinski and Man. South Hobart really keen to get them involved and get them involved early. If they can isolate those matchups, they fancy themselves. Here's Self. Cuts inside, but he's turned it over, and a foul in the process. It'll be South Hobart's ball. Undy and Hunt conspiring to dispossess Self there, and South Hobart just getting on top of this one. No real volunteers to take the set piece, so Hunt will wander over and take his own ball. As we look at this replay, Hunt gets it and just clipped by Self on the way through. So another chance to pressure them from the set piece. The first one, the corner, yielding the goal. Can Hunt's delivery For some problems, he goes in unmarked in the middle. It's 2-0. Oh, Andy. It's 2-0. That was horrible marking from Zebras, and South Hobart are flying here at Darcy Street. Hunt curls it in. Andy nods it home, and, well, he's just completely unmarked there in the most dangerous area. It's a beautiful ball from Hunt, but how on earth does Andy have this much room? It's the easiest of headed opportunities.
Header, although, Drewster,
Thanks,
he
Physicality.
took the chance with aplomb.
Pinpoint header, beautifully done.
He's got a brace within 10 minutes.
The unlikeliest of customers you'd imagine there, Andy. Has just bobbed up the set pieces twice. It's a long way back for Zebras now. South Hobart, they've got this home crowd up and about. And wow, twice now, they've just not been switched on defending set pieces. And South Hobart 2-0 ahead. What a brilliant start for the home side. And Zebras not happy with that decision. It did seem a soft one. Gilly just typing away furiously here. He'll get a word in when he can. A lot happening in South Hobart. Will be absolutely ecstatic with this opening. 2-0 up after 11 minutes. Not at all what I was expecting. It's just been two simple breakdowns from set pieces. Failure to deal with the ball at the back post, and then completely unmarked. Andy in the middle of the box was there to nod home. He's taken his chance as well, and they're going forward again. Could they get a third and almost kill this contest off? Some dangerous play there from Walter, but can't break through. And Wright, who's had little to do about either of the goals, can pick this one up. We'll be looking for a response because South Hobart have stunned them here early on. Here's Walsh. His touch was a little heavy, but allows self to be played in. Lewis was up on him and knocked it out of play. Hunt's have to track back, and he's done well. Lewis again to Lazinski. Looked to lay it off the Hunt, but the Zebras will break this up, and Muller's turned it over. He's been caught on the ball. He just did enough. Some good pressure coming from Kemp, and Zebras looking a little bit rattled. Have just played it straight out here. This is not the Zebras we've seen over the past month or so, as they've really surged into this title race. South Hobart well and truly on top at Darcy Street. 2 to the good. And they'll go down the line. Tolkien nods, but back centrally towards Kemp was. Thomas will get the ball now to Engels, and he volleyed up and then turned it straight over. Here's Undy, who's got 2. He plays in Lazinski, he plays a beautiful ball to Hunt. It could be 3-0, lays it back for man, rounds the keeper, he's surely brought down. And I think the ref has paid the penalty rather than allowing advantage.
My lord.
So I'm not sure if it's
3-0. What the hell?
But they have just shown an inability to deal. We'll have to take the penalty again. The keeper has, just completely legged him, and the ref had not paid the advantage, so they don't get the goal. It's going to be Braden Mann to the spot for 3-0, and it could be game over inside of 13 minutes. We're all a little shocked here. We thought this was going to be a real tight match. The Zebras' defence has been the best in the league this year, but every time South have gone forward in a meaningful way, they've just been completely overwhelmed here as Mann steps up and buries at bottom corner. It's 3-0. South Hobart racing away into the distance here. And they are utterly shell-shocked, the Zebras. This one could be over already, Gilly.
Well, I think it is. South Hobart are not going to concede 3 from here, in my opinion. They haven't even been tested yet. Zebras looked so patient at the start. They're in absolute all sorts. South Hobart have come forward 3 real times and taken the lead on all 3 occasions, taken their chance as well. Hugh Undy on 2 of them. And then that one there, just they're all at sea at the back.
That's 6s and 7s back there, and it's not something you'd associate with the Zebras' defence. They've been really solid all year. Walsh and Tolkiel, the fullbacks. Fag and Harrison, the centre halves, but they're having a torrid time as McEwen looks to try and work something back, but that was a fairly half-hearted effort. As we've seen, Hay has been shifted back into the heart of defence, and Fag going into midfield. Obviously, Hay, one of their better players, he's a key man in midfield, but the manager, his old man's decided, well, better get him back to the heart of defence. Can't afford to have him in midfield. We need him back there. It's all hands on deck, because it's not just been an overwhelming barrage or anything. They've literally gone forward 3 times with 3 attacks, South Hobart, and scored all 3. As they pull Thomas And McEwen dueling here, and Thomas across deals with that nicely. And now Dogger Brown across, they'll get the throw in, but McEwen's cut a pretty isolated figure up top so far today. Can the Zebras find something from this attack? They've offered nothing so far. Walsh will come across.
Might get a replay in a second from Ash on that incident. I haven't seen it again. I just want to see how Zebras were so scrambled at the back. Drewster.
Yeah, we'll get that in a minute as we see Walsh dispossessed here, and we got the replay coming up now. It really is a mess. Just everyone caught out of position. A clever cutback from man, and then was just legged. Probably the man back on the line prevents it from being the red card. It was just asked, but it was a tidy finish from Hunt. Of course, their effort already blowed penalty, so not today, but keep you right, just slipped on the surface there. Took the leg of man, it was poorly timed. And the build-up, though, just sliced apart again. It's been a horrid defensive display from Zebras so far. Such a strong defensive team. Totally uncharacteristic, you'd have to say. Hay to whip the set piece in. Can they find a way back into this game? There's still a long time left in this one if they can pull a goal back. South Hobart just kicking this one out of play as Lazinski. There's a poor pass. His hold-up work's been good so far, though. Here's Dwayne Walsh. McEwen moving for him. He's got Thomas for company. He heads in that direction. Cuts back onto his left, but again, shadowing him everywhere. Here's Thomas. Very impressive young defender. The fact that Ludford is playing in one of the fullback positions to accommodate in this lineup speaks volumes about the play of Thomason's coming in. Walsh comes in, and Muller and Thomas to the back post. An acrobatic bicycle effort from McEwen. Didn't make contact though. In the end, they're able to clear out through Ludford. Zebras looking to get a spell on the ball here for the first time since the opening few minutes, but they'll turn this one over because Pearce is alert to it, and he'll beat Engels to the ball and then lay it off for Ludford. He's it right back today. Pressed hard there by Engels. Now makes its way through to Lazinski. That's a raking pass, but it's going to be far too central. Right, will pick that one up. Hunt was bursting through the middle. Needs to be better than that as we have another look at the bicycle effort. He got into position, just didn't quite make the contact there, McEwen. It would have been a spectacular way back into the game, that's for sure. Kemp nods on and plays a nice little 1-2 with Mann. Needs some more support though. He's got Walsh for company. Just dances on the ball for a minute, then a lovely little pass, and now the turn from Hunt. He gets to the byline, whips it crossing over the head of Man, and Wright plucks it gratefully out of the air and gets them moving quickly. But it's gone straight to Dogger Brown. He deals with that comfortably. Couldn't quite pick out Undy's feet there. Tolkill goes back centrally for Fag, as we mentioned, playing in central midfield now. Zebras need to find something. Self plays a nice ball into the channel, but it was well read by Thomas. Deflects into the air. McEwen making a nuisance of himself in the box, and I think that'll be a goal kick. No, it will be a corner. So an opportunity here for Zebras on 18 minutes. Just starting to settle a little more, but a 3-0 deficit inside of 15 minutes means they've probably taken well and truly too long to settle. A long road back. They go short. Here's Hay. Dips one up to the back post towards Fag, but Lazinski rose highest and nods away. Self flicks it back, and Muller tried to chip Pearce. You're not going to beat someone of his quality with an effort like that. Pearce gets it moving quickly. Matthias Tolkill was wise to it though. Well read by Tolkill. He looks up and doesn't see a lot on offer. Goes short to Thomas. Dribbles into the box and then fires the left-footed effort wide. Took a deflection though, and it'll be another corner. It's a good play from Thomas here. I think Pearce getting a piece of it in the end to see it wide. A few tweets coming in. Most people very surprised at this start from South Hobart. Everyone in the footballing community was expecting a real arm wrestle today. It's not been the case. Some nice work here from Thomas, but showed too much of the ball to the defender, and the experienced campaigner Ludford just sees that one over. He's going to be a tough man to get in behind at fullback.
I think I've just caught up with the game on the blog, if you're reading along. I hope you enjoy it because it's taken an effort. What a start from the Zebras. Amazing opening 15 minutes or so from South Hobart. The Zebras absolutely in all sorts, I've got to say. Man now looks to flick on. It's down the line. Acrobatic effort. Got the crowd going. Wasn't all that impressive for mine.
Yeah, pretty happy bunch down here at the moment. Doesn't take too much to draw the applause. The 3-0 lead over Zebras. Fair to say they're sitting fairly comfortably here at Darcy Street, the locals.
Yeah, and rightfully so. South Hobart are all over them here, smashing them. Comes forward for Fag. He's moved into midfield as said earlier. It's a foul against Dogger Brown. He's usually good for a couple. An interesting one for Dogger Brown. He's got 6 yellow cards coming into today's game. FFA Cup looming the first week of August. If he gets 2 more, he missed 2 games. And I think there's 3 games between now and that game. So I'm just a little worried for him.
Yeah, we'll be treading the tightrope, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. Certainly whether Morton maybe brings in one of Quayle or Schmidt and just gives Dogger Brown a bit of a rest, but at the same time, they're right in the heart of the league title chase at the moment. You've got to be playing your best 11 most weeks, I'd have thought. They've got some serious catching up to do. It looks like they're going to ease in 3 points. I'm calling it early, but 3-0. Looks like they're going to be the ones chasing Olympia down and not Zebras, unless, of course, Guy Buello can just come off the pine and highlight his superstar status.
Well, they've got to almost make a change, don't they, Zebras? Whatever's happening at the moment isn't working, it's fair to say, as Kemp picks it up in midfield, lays forward for Undy, who's been electric early, plays back for Kemp, steals him into a bit of trouble on this occasion. Thomas steals ahead for Kurt Engels. They need the ball at his feet. Delivers forward, not for Adam McEwen. Oscar Thomas chops it off. Sells Pearce into a bit of trouble, bobbled up on him. Undy heaves clear, beyond halfway it goes. Won by Harrison ahead of Lazinski. Walsh darts forward. He bolts straight through the middle and then lays a ball for no one in particular that will trickle out of play and out for a goal kick.
Yeah, Engels just not making the run that Walsh was hoping he was there. Not on the same page, those two. Walsh needs to get forward and impose himself on the contest, though, because they've had precious little in the way of attacking moments so far throughout the game. They've not really threatened the goal of Pearce yet as he launches this one wide. Lewis will compete with Self in the air and it'll bounce in favour of the Zebras. Here's a chance for Muller to get on the ball. He plays it first time. Back into the channel towards McEwen, but will roll pretty harmlessly towards Pearce. He's able to collect. 22 minutes gone. 3-0 South Hobart. 2 headers to Undy. And a third from the spot courtesy of Braden Mann. He's got them sitting very pretty indeed here. Zebras simply have to respond before half-time. They need to lead into this lead. It's at 3 at the moment. If they can pull it back to 3-1, there'll be some chance, but unlikely at this stage as Thomas and Pearce, some confusion there, and eventually Pearce just puts it out of play. Self will throw into McEwen, whose touch was heavy. Lewis was there. So Walsh will take the throw. They're pushing bodies forward as they know they have to. A few men to pick out in the box. In the end, they opt for McEwen. What can he do? He turns nicely, but he's surrounded by South Hobart shirts as himself, and Lewis has done really well there. Zebra's fighting on hard though. Muller, nice lick up plays. McEwen offside. He's called a free kick on the edge of the area, I think. He has, just inside the area for some afters here. Thomas sliding through just after collecting the man. It was a bit late on Thomas, so a free kick in a very good area. And they go the quick chip. Oh, it's taken Pearce.
Here we go.
Caught him completely off
Here
guard.
we go.
Pearce didn't see that coming. And it's 3-1. Some cheek from Hay, some ingenuity, and they're back in the game.
That is some smart stuff from Jaden Hay. Need to see that one again.
He's got completely unawares there, Pearce. He was still setting his wall up. He wasn't looking, and Hay just says, I'm just going to just chip this one in the corner. She's curled it off the post. Pearce can't believe it.
Pearce has looked pretty filthy about it, but that is sharp stuff from Jaden Hay. The sort of stuff that Zebras need to claw their way back in this contest. All of a sudden, they haven't looked like it, and just smart little moment. He takes it, and bang, they might be back in it as Lazinski delivers through to Undy. Inside the 18 he goes. He weaves back out, lays for Walter. He delivers straight in looking for Hunt. Hunt meets it, but it falls to Muller. Gets it going the Zebras' way, and it's a foul against Hunt in all of that. And Barker will give Zebras the ball, and they can breathe a sigh of relief, and we might get a look at that goal again. Just brilliant from Jaden Hay.
So you have a look here, you can see Pearce is on his post. He's setting the wall up at this point, and the chip comes. He's scrambling, and it's perfectly placed too. Could not have placed that any better. South Hobart, they can't believe it. They've been caught off guard. And credit to Hay. It was a very heads-up play from him. As Ryan almost gets into a little bit of trouble, but he went the opposite way to Hunts, and they'll clear eventually. If not looking likely, whilst still down 2 goals, they're back in the game. At least they've got a foothold in this one now, Zebras. And they can keep working away at eroding this lead. It's a long way back, but some hope made thanks to some ingenuity there from Hay at the set piece. They're now settling on in midfield. Here's Walsh. Engels appears to have switched sides here. He'll run at Lewis now, and Self will run at Ludford. So certainly not afraid to change things up, the manager, and had to with a 3-goal deficit. We've already seen Fag and Hay swap, and now we've seen the wingers swap. So he's not remained stagnant, and I'd expect the likes of Sherman and Buelle maybe to come on, as this one is played forward and causes some confusion for the South Hobart defence. They deal with it eventually. Toghill wins that one. Then Kemp. Toghill rises again, but he's beaten by Walter. Flicked on by Fag. Eventually comes back to Tyler Harrison. Lovely little pass, looking to overlap was Walsh, but Lewis has read it well, and now he's got the better of Kurt Engels. Good play from Lewis, but Lazinski and Mann weren't making the run he was quite expecting there. In the end, turns it over, but some good play from Lewis at fullback. Read the danger. I've got to say the South Hobart fullbacks have had the likes of Self and Engels in their pocket so far. That's a lovely ball though, as Tolkill overlapping, lobs one in towards Sunday McEwen, gets a header on it, but never had the power, and Pearce can take this one and play it short and get them going. He's Undy. Pass to Lazinski, clever little flick inside there. Man now looks up. He sees a few bodies in support. He cuts centrally. Can he bring Walter into the play? He shifts it out to the right. He's running here at Toghill, cuts inside, but couldn't beat the second man. It was well defended by Zebras. Well done by Muller, dropping back and covering that space so well. Now it's back the other way. Here's Engels on the ball. He looks up. Sees a couple of options, dwells on the ball. Now he takes it wide, and it'll be a Zebras throw. So end-to-end football here at the moment. Both teams attacking. Walsh goes in. Sunday with the flick on, looking for Engels. Will he beat the ball to the byline? He does, but only just, and Pearce can get it as Dogger Brown is down outside the field of play at the moment. We hope that he's all right. We'll keep an eye on that one as they quickly move it forward to Braden Mann. He's got Toghill for company. Just got on his back as Dogger Brown getting back to his feet behind the play, which is good to see. So nothing too serious there, it would appear, as we have a look at the replay there. He slid in just coming together with Engels. But he's all right, which is good to see. South looking to get in behind. Couldn't quite get past Toghill, got enough of it. That's a nice little ball forward. Now South Hobart building dangerously as Kemp looks to cross, but Muller got back and blocked it. Ludford in no rush to take this throw. South Hobart still getting plenty of bodies forward though. Going to settle on this 3-goal lead. There's a danger, I suppose, early in matches if you build up too much of a lead to just sit on it and stop playing the kind of football that got you to that spot in the first place. Harrison calmly passed it to Toghill, who turned and then was fouled. Cleverly done by Toghill, who just nipped it behind himself. He knew the contact was coming, and as soon as he felt that, just hits the deck. Very, very experienced customer, Toghill. Very wily fullback. So right on the ball now. Goes down the line, self-flicked on nicely. Brown leads back in the race against McEwen and just sees it out of play. The goal really has helped settle Zebras. They've looked a lot more comfortable out there since they've got the goal. They're absolutely shell-shocked after that third one went in. Most of the ground was at that point. Certainly unexpected, but they found their feet. Will it be too late? As Tolkill curls in a dangerous ball towards Engels. It falls to McEwen, cuts onto his left. And he looked to squeeze one in near post, but it was well blocked. Some tidy work here. He cut back onto his left, sold Brown the wrong way, but getting across was the big frame of Thomas to get a block on it. And saw it out from behind. Some good covering there from Thomas. McEwen's fake out. It sent Brown the wrong way. Zebras pressing here. Can they find a second goal? Plays it back in. His man who won the header though, and now Hunt will just storm out of defence. He's got some support with him. And Walter, he sold him horribly short though, and Walsh will come flying back the other way, only as far as Braden Mann, who was there to deal with it. Now we're starting to get the game I thought we saw. Much more of a contest.
Yeah, that goal's pivotal for the Zebras. They needed to get at least one back before the break, or they stood absolutely no chance in my opinion. It's played across into Walter in the bullseye, puts it out in front of Mann. Expert delivery from Walter. Just gets away from Mann at the last instant. And Walsh takes full advantage, steals and dashes away. Hunt across to cut it off. And fitting that he did that, because Hunt for me has been just in everything for South Hobart. Being really, really good. And I mentioned when we're going through the teams, he's been a bit flat recently. He's brought his game today. He's a flicked on from Lazinski, comes back through Mann. Lays across for Undy. He's pressured off it by Thomas. Beautiful bit of work from Harrison Thomas. Forward now for Engels. Lewis steals. Muller should tidy up at the back with a little help from friends in Tyler Harrison. Now Graham Wright. They switch it up the Zebras. It bobbles up on Toghill. Here's Walter providing chase. Lays in for the goal scorer in Jaden Hay. I'm still a bit taken back by that goal. It was just one of those things you couldn't believe at first glance, and the ease in which he finished it off. It's played forward from Walsh to Engels. He chips over the top and calls for Engels to run, and he does. He's got pressure coming from Lewis, burns him off. Plays centrally for Harrison Thomas. It just goes under his footing. Muller cuts off in midfield, but gives it straight to South Hobart. It's with Walter and then Undy, and wide for Kemp. He leaves it for Lewis. Has his hands full this afternoon with Kurt Engels. He blasts forward, and that one will be tracked down and easily collected by Graham Wright. The Scotsman goes short. So that move, probably a good one, putting Hay back in there. It seems to have settled that defence. They were diabolical early. Their marking was all over the shop as the ball comes along. Brown brings down. It's Kemp who gets a touch in, and then he's brought down by Jordan Moore. It's been a physical encounter early. 11 fouls already. Played across from Walter to Oscar Thomas. Plenty of voice coming from Graham Wright back there. It comes through for Lazinski. He's pressured by a couple. He holds onto the ball. That's until Muller gets involved. And heave clear from Tyler Harrison. Brown does the same in South Hobart's half. And now it's McEwen in a foot race with Oscar Thomas. Those long legs get to it first. You see it clear out on the left-hand side. Throwing now for the Zebras. Self in for McEwen. He goes back to Toghill. Squeezes a ball out off Walter. Sits for Mann. Back with Toghill. He's a battler. It's a foul against Walter. Zebras can regroup.
Yeah, I've said it a number of times watching Zebras this year how they dearly love to have two Jaden Hayes out there. One they can play at the heart of defence and one in midfield, but he certainly has made them look a lot more solid and composed at the back since his move there. As Lazinski might get this one, he'll look up and he'll see Braden Mann in space. He sets it out in front of him. He's in a race with Hay now. Zebras hurrying to get back. He dwells on the ball. Very nicely done by Hay. Just held up, man. Lazinski was in the middle in a one-on-one. You could see the man was always looking to get it to him. He wasn't going to take him on. With some smart defence and sees it behind for a corner. And again, it broke very nicely there for South Hobart. It's happened a few times. And we'll hope that the Zebras' set-piece defence can be a little more organised than it has been thus far. They've looked very troubled from them so far. It'll be the wing commander Hunt to swing this one in. There's a sea of bodies in there. South Hobart with 6 men up there, and one of them is Brown. He rose high with Lazinski. Toghill will clear it.
Could have very nearly been a fourth edge rooster. Brown, actually, I thought, almost got in the way of Lazinski. He looked to have the sit almost for the header. Maybe a little fortunate there, Zebras. Their marking wasn't on point again. Thrown from Ludford. Yet to be tested at fullback. Back for Walter. Just miscues the ball a little and self-steals, but runs it out of play. Another throw-in for the South Hobart veteran. No! Zebra's ball.
Don't know about that one. Ref saying something I didn't. But Zebras will take it. Chance to relieve the pressure that was just starting to build. Solgill down the line. Dogger Brown will lead back and, in fact, never gave anyone a chance. And South Hobart will get their throw in after all. Maybe Tolkiel thought it was a south ball and just thought to give it back to him. Seems that sort of character, doesn't he, Gil?
Yeah, that's him.
In a nutshell, Tolgiel. Flicked on by Lazinski. It might work out. It does. Is drive from a long way out. Cracks the post. Oh, what an audacious effort. It had Wright scrambling. And Walter, what a hit that was. A cracking effort from nowhere. He's just launched this and Wright was scrambling. He had him beat. It's just clipped the post. I thought it was the perfect hit. 4-0 almost. Wright might have just got a little piece of it. What an effort that was, though. Alex Walter, well, you want to be focusing if you're the keeper today. We saw Pearce caught out earlier, and Wright really taken by surprise there. These players out there showing no hesitation to shoot if they think the opportunity arises. Wright, a relief man, launches long. Engels competed with Lewis. It's spilled to McCune. Now Engels turns, but turned into trouble. There are three south bodies there. This will find its way forward now to Mann. He turns nicely, waits support, slides it across for Kemp. They build nicely. Here's Walter back into Lazinski. Flicked on to Mann! And a good save from Wright. It was delightful build-up play again from South Hobart. They're playing some really beautiful football out there. We see the passing just unlocking the defence the first time. Flick on from Lazinski. His work as a target man has been outstanding again. I said it pre-game, but for mine, he's the form player of the tournament over this last month. He's been outstanding and again, really causing havoc for the Zebra centre halves today. Throw down the line. Zebras want to find a second one back. It's South Hobart looking the most likely to score at the moment. If it gets back out to 4-1, mentally that becomes a massive barrier to overcome. Oscar Thomas has barely put a foot wrong with the harder defence for South Hobart there. He's snuffed out everything so far. Not really had much of a threat going forward. And I've got to say, Hay, whilst he's gone back, has solidified the defence. The midfield is starting to really be dominated by South Hobart. And there's gaps there, which South Hobart is starting to exploit. Here's Muller. As has been pointed out, the star himself, Guy Muelle, he's warming up. And I expect to see him very early in the second half, to be honest, as they need a spark, Zebras. And he might just be the Cameroonian international to provide it. It's a direct ball into the box again. Here's Mann. Oh, first touch silky and then looked to play it back heel for Undy. Almost came off, charging back the other way is Hay. Oh, a scything run. This is beautiful. Can he receive the return ball? He can't. Sunday McEwen butchered the return. It was a lung-busting run through the heart of the midfield by Hay. He was there for the return ball. It just never came. Lazinski now will just hold up and bring some others into the game. He's done this well all day and wins the throw, but hey, it was a good run, a real moment of authority running through the middle of the park. The support just wasn't there, but I wonder if we'll see a bit more of that. Maybe Fag dropping back into a centre-back position to cover him, because he can be a real impact offensively, Hay. Don't want their play to be robbed of that by sending him back in defence. The cross comes in, it's behind everyone though, and Engels will take this one away to Sunday McEwen, whose first touch was poor, and South Hobart should be able to deal with this.
I'd expect if Bolle is coming on, maybe he slots into defence in place of Fag. Fag struggled early, and it looks like a slice of cheese might be presented here for Dwayne Walsh. He is checking on Hunt, who looked in a bit of trouble. He clattered into the back of Hunt on that occasion.
Clear yellow, that one, very late. battered him. And Walsh just got the timing of that one all wrong as we have a look. Just nipped him behind him, didn't he, Hunt? I don't know if Walsh was aware of him. Well, he wasn't. Unnecessary, really. I don't think that he's going to be too dangerous. I think he's running into a corner there. Set piece chance for Hunt again. He goes to the back post this time, and another header. This time it's Dogger Brown. It's 4-1. Once again, Hobart Zebras' inability to deal with South Hobart set pieces has cost them dearly. Dogger Brown makes it 4-1. Some more superb delivery from the wing commander, Chris Hunt. And this one is probably over now, you'd say. 4-1. They've just not dealt with it all day. Unmarked. He nips in. Clinical again, but terrible at the back.
The marking has been horrible. Absolutely horrible. Over the top to Dan Brown. He just ran at that as he pleased. Beautiful purchase on the header, and he's put it in wonderfully, but it is diabolical stuff at the back from the Zebras. They aren't learning from their mistakes.
This is the best defence in the league too, Damien. This is the side that conceded the least amount of goals that have been rocks all year, and just making basic error after basic error. They've not been able to defend the set pieces, and South Hobart doing as they like. It's horrible. It really is. South Hobart clinical again. And the big cattle they've got, I'll say one advantage of having the 4 centre backs, having Ludford and Lewis as fullbacks. You've got Lazinski and Mann. Gives you a real physical presence from the set pieces. And quite frankly, the Zebras have been utterly lost trying to mark them. It has been grade school type defending. Absolutely poor. Yeah, South Hobart have absolutely taken advantage here today as Engels tries to turn around a few. He might get the ball back here. Zebras looking to hit back. Thomas got a timely foot in, deflects in the air to Self. He has to go back and collect. He's got Fag wide left, instead cuts centrally where there's plenty of South Hobart bodies, so I'm sure it was well advised. In the end they draw the foul. A little soft one, but they persevered and they get the set piece opportunity, and I'd suggest Pearce will be staying on his line when he sets the wall up this time. Self standing over the set piece, as is Hay. Did this one a little bit harder than last time. Hay's the man again, and again it's on target. Well caught by Pearce. It was swirling round. It was a pretty good hit, but he had his positioning right there, Kane Pearce, and he wasn't going to get beaten by that one. As Oscar Thomas now takes it out of defence. Doesn't like what he sees, so just cuts back and dwells on it. He's not being pressured though by the Zebras. They're sitting back, and now he launches it long down the line for Mann, but it just crawls out of play as we tick towards half time. Have a look at the replay. That was really swerving. So a good take in the end by Hay. By Pearce, sorry, from Hayes. They've not cleared that one well. Eventually Tyler Harrison does. It was looking dangerous for a moment. Might be back the other way. Ludford chips one in the box. Lazinski up against Walsh. He threw his body in the way. I reckon that got behind for a corner. The referee doesn't agree though and says play on. Right, can pick this one up. As we have a look, did it spill over? And he's probably done just enough to keep it in there, right? Here's Fag, turns back. Surrounded by South Hobart shorts. Thomas is too. Kemp dispossesses him, and Ludford lobs it forward, and loving it forward there. Has been a good tactic. A beautiful ball from Lazinski. Here's Walter. Can he pick out a target in the middle? He can't. It was blocked behind, but yet another corner, and again Lazinski. His hold-up work, he's bringing into the play of his fellow attackers. It's just been a delight to watch. His flicks and layoffs have been an absolute treat. A real physical presence up there. They've put the ball on his chest, on his head all day, and good things have happened. Another set-piece opportunity. They've scored from 3. Hunt will be the man once again to swing it in. He won't do much danger with that, though. He's never beating the first man. Well dealt with, only as far as Ludford, though. Back to Hunt. He'll curl another one in. Again, it's short, and Fag can deal with it. Thomas with a poor touch that goes to Ludford. Lobbed it. A bit of aerial ping-pong being played. Muller. Now Ludford. This one will go all the way out for a goal kick as we tick towards half-time. I reckon it'll be a very buoyant South Hobart lineup heading into the locker rooms. It couldn't have gone much better for them. 4-1 to the good. They're expecting a tight tussle, a real arm wrestle. They've maybe a goal separating either side at the end of the day. Well, it has been domination from South Hobart. And the Zebs, their schoolboy defending has cost them dearly. There might be a couple of minutes of added time. And it's enough for the Zebras to pull one back, give themselves some semblance of a hope.
There's no chance, Dress. As the throw comes in for Muller.
Blunt as ever, Gil.
Back for Tyler Harrison. It's game over.
Well, it should be. I've seen stranger things happen on a footballing pitch, though, Gil.
Yeah, you're right.
I saw Devonport roll 3 in about 10 minutes past South Hobart here one day, so you never know, as you're so fond of saying. If I were a betting man, big if, I'd certainly not be betting on anyone than South at this stage, though.
It's been an absolute dominant half from South Hobart. There was a little brief foray after that Zebras goal where you thought maybe they're back in this, but the bulk of it's being played in that defensive third of the Zebras. As the ball comes forward now, McEwen brings it down over his chest. Oscar Thomas across to cut it off. I think we're going to have to see changes from Zebras at half time. I expect to see James Schumann and Guy Buelle come on as it comes across, bobbles up. It's brought down from Kemp, over the head from Hunt. Propelled forward, nobody home but black and white shirts, and it's Hunt. It's Hay rather who delivers forward. Brown nods. Beyond halfway it goes. Toghill's high sky ball. Ball down from Ludford, and Fag wins for the Zebras, and then Ludford goes, this one's going higher, and he sends a cannon into outer space. It drops down and it's out of play for a throw in. It's been some half from Chris Hunt for mine. Just trying to see how many assists he's had. He's definitely had one, at least 2. I think he might even have 3, the great man. Some half from Chris Hunt.
Well, he would have taken all the set pieces and they scored from 3 of them.
Yeah, so the first one was more Mann's assist because he brought it back in and it was finished off by Undy, but he actually assisted the penalty because he was the one. Well, he would have finished off a goal if they blowed on, but anyway. Hunt on the ball now, delivered forward to the edge of the box. It's cut off by Tyler Harrison. Kemp wins for South Hobart, scoops it over the top. It's there for Lazinski. He hustles and bustles, wins the ball, but illegally, says Kim Barker.
Soft one, that. Very soft and very fortunate, the Zebras. That could have been 5. And Lazinski, he's physically monstered the centre halves of Zebras all day. And we saw it again, just too strong. Just turning them with ease, the big fella. As we tick towards half-time, surely he can't be too far away. I suppose there have been 5 goals. Kim Barker has a look at his watch. Ludford with the throw. It's going to be a very content Darcy Street crowd here as they come off, I'd imagine.
Yeah, they're going to be excited. There's a big crowd in. I think there's a couple hundred of them, maybe hoping that South Hobart would get done. A fair few Olympia people about, so a few of those jackets. And be a bit disappointed with how it's played out today because on this showing they're still well and truly in the title race.
Yeah, I reckon Olympia fans would have been supporting the draw today, I reckon. They would have been quite happy for a ground out 0-0 or something. But
I think they would have draw or Zebra win. They definitely did. Oh, it's sent back for right. Sold into a little bit of trouble. He panically gets it out just ahead of Braden Mann. Braden Mann's been buzzing around as well. A lot of winners for South Hobart in this half. Back for Dan Brown. Plays forward for Kobe Kemp. Goes back to Pearce. The only real blemish on this half that was not so much an error by anyone, but you got to give the points to Jaden Hay for the well-taken free kick. It was just a smart bit of work, really. Maybe a lack of awareness for Kane Pearce, but something he'll learn from, and hasn't bit them too much to date anyway. As Ludford tries to get in down that right-hand side, it's out of play. A throw in now to Undy. He's got to navigate self.
They haven't looked like scoring apart from that moment, those Zebras. That moment of cheeky opportunism, the only time they've looked like scoring, which says it all, really.
Not at all. When statistically speaking, 8 shots for South Hobart and 4 for the Zebras, but those 8, 7 of which have been on target. And that's half-time here at Darcy Street. A dominant performance from South Hobart in that opening half. A 4-1 lead for the reigning champions. And they'll go into the sheds very pleased with their efforts. Zebras, well, well, they'll be wondering what went wrong.
Yeah, as happy as South Hobart will be with that first 45. Zebras were absolutely insipid. You come here, the season on the line, biggest game of the year, title race, and to let in goals like that, just unaccountable defending from set pieces is really, really poor. They'll be very disappointed with themselves as we look at the replay. You just can't afford to concede from set pieces like that. It's basic errors, it's mental errors not being switched on. Get your man. South Hobart haven't had to beat them with spectacular goals. It's been really disappointing from a Zebras perspective. They had a lot to play for and they've simply not shown up.
The rest of it, it's pretty accurate. They've been... they simply haven't turned up. They just have not turned up. Huge match for them. They need 3 points. And it all started so ugly. I mean, South Hobart were up 3-0 inside 14 minutes. And definitely 2 of them could have been avoided if it was just for some tracking. They're just not tracking them on set pieces. They're just letting people run vacantly straight at it. Here we see the only real highlight for the Zebras in the first half was a cheeky little finish from Jaden Hay up against his former club. He's just poked that one home, a nice bit of work. But outside of that, there's not much that's gone right for the boys in black and white.
Yeah, well, I think they're going to roll the dice, really. I mean, you may as well lose 7 or 6, 2 or 3 chasing the game than keeping it 4-1. They've got to roll the dice. Anything other than a win today is pretty unacceptable. So I'd expect Wello to come on. You expect Sherman to come on. It's time for them to roll that dice, see if something can come off. But 4-1 down, a long way back, and really you wouldn't expect South Hobart to cough up a 3-goal lead at home. They're a very professional team. They're a switched-on team, and I can't see Zebras getting back into it, but they've got to make the substitutions and start playing an attacking brand to give themselves a chance. But the more they do that, the more open they're going to leave themselves, you think. And the way Mann and Lazinski and Hunt in particular have looked up top today, it could be very ugly if they really expose themselves chasing the game, Zebras.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, this one's just about done and dusted. I won't never say never, but something drastic has to change for the Zebras. They have to put behind that first half performance and remember they can play football, because on that first half showing they looked an ordinary team that don't deserve to be in the title race.
Absolutely, and we know they're better than that is the thing. It's frustrating because we know this is a good Zebras team. This is a Zebras side that's been so impressive and really kept themselves in the title race. And was it 1-1 the first last time, 2-1 the 2 times they've met this year? They've been good, entertaining games of football. These 2 sides have played against each other, and today it's just been really one-sided domination and farcical defending.
Yeah, farcical defending, and South Hobart moving forward with purpose, and they had good chances and took the good chances. So they have a deserved lead at the break, 4-1 to South Hobart over Hobart Jeep Zebras. We might have a breather now before the second stanza. We might just gear up some of those first half highlights, courtesy of Ash Wilkes, the cameraman extraordinaire. Do stay with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, of course, we're in the last 7 matches for the Victory League, and yesterday, of course, Olympia defeated Northern Rangers 1-0. So at this stage, they are 8 points ahead of South Hobart, 9 points ahead of Hobart Zebras. Next week, Olympia and Zebras will play, which will be, I'm sure, a lot of interest. And then, of course, the week after, ladies and gentlemen, if we do have a Mr. Baden Van Tor here, there was a DVD that was found outside the stadium here on the road. Obviously, the DVD that's been hired has fallen out of the car. So Mr. Baden Van Tor, got the DVD here with me.
So we're back with the second half here from Darcy Street, South Hobart. They've got the upper hand, 4-1 over Hobart Jeep Zebras. Brenton Copra injected into the action. Kim Possible-Barker's pulled up a bit lame from that first half, an action-packed first half. The referee had to move about, and he's obviously twinged something, so he's out. And it also looks like James Sherman's been injected into the contest for the Zebras. Trying to see who's made way, but Sherman's definitely on for the Zebras, Drewster.
I think he might be on for Fag, but that's purely because I can't see the green boots out there anywhere. It looks like that is the sub that has been made. So Hay will stay at centre back, and Sherman will replace Fag in the middle of the park. So a sub that probably had to be made, really. They're going to make something happen, and 4-1 down. Despite the fact he's been out of the country for 5 years, you may as well just inject him into the contest.
Exactly right.
Nothing to lose.
Big raps of him at training, so we'll get to see whether he's up to it right now, Drewster, in the heat of battle. Tolgil on the ball, drives forward Harrison Thomas. He turns and looks for McEwen. It's cut from Brown, but he sweeps across and picks out an opposition team in Self. Delivers in for McEwen as a speculative drive from Engels that glides well wide and out to left.
Yeah, fascinating battle, that one, between Engels and Hugh Ludford. Two very experienced customers going at it. There's a pretty poor shot off target in the end, but a bright start at least for Zebras as Undy misjudges that one, and it'll fall out back to Engels. Sunday McEwen can trap it, and Kemp will launch it forward. Only as far as Sherman just on. Tolgil goes back to Sherman, so getting involved early. That's a lovely little pass around the corner to bring Walsh into the play. He goes down the line and finds Self. Yeah, spills out of play. So Sherman getting involved early, looking to find his feet, and he shifts it forward. That one misses him, but Muller flicked on. Thomas wasn't making the run for him though, and Thomas just lets that one run, and there'll be a goal kick as Guy Mele just going up and down the sideline there. So I wonder how long before we see him injected into this one. I suspect if it stays at 4-1 for much longer, we'll be seeing him pretty soon. That Pearce drives it long down the line. Rising high was Ludford. Hunt goes back, not Ludford. Anyway, South Hobart go forward here, and that couldn't quite pick out Undy. It was well read by Hay across the cover, and he goes down the line. Nobody there though. They'll give chase. Pearce has got plenty of time, and a nice little pass back to Undy. He quickly makes it someone else's problem. Launched it long. He'll come right back at him though. Brown. Here's Kemp. It's a foot on it and out of play, so a better start to this half from Zebras. They're looking solid in defence. They need to strike early if there'd be any chance though. Thomas read that one well, got in ahead of his namesake. Lewis now down the line. This one will float over Lazinski's head, and Hay can just go back to right, donning the cap in the second half. Looking into the sun, which is pretty bright at the moment after pretty awful conditions earlier in the day. Has evolved into quite a nice day out there for football, as Brown is tussling with McEwen, and it was always favouring the big dog of Brown as he headed that one clear. Here's Sherman, who certainly getting involved early on, but that pass won't find anyone. Thomas is made to hustle there by McEwen. In the end, he gets the right side, and we'll see it out of play. It's a better start. They're pressing them at least here, Zebras. They're boxing them in a little bit. And Sherman's made an impact early.
He has indeed. Real nice bloke, I got to say. Met him midweek. Very nice fella. Throws in to Self. He delivers across the box. Two Zebras go for it. One takes a tumble in McEwen. Play goes on, and it's with Lazinski. And South Hobart attacking half. Undy breaking ahead of him. He delivers for Undy. The edge of the box. Undy wraps his boot around it. Forces a save from right. It's there for Mann, who gets, I think, a bit of his back on the ball. And it fires wide and out to the left of goal. Copra comes across to check out where the man's okay. We see that save from Graham Wright. Good effort from Undy. Geez, he burst with pace out on this far side.
Once again, though, Lazinski, the man, just intelligently held it up. You could see Undy was making that run, just held up, took it wide, then flicked it through when it was the right time, set up that chance again. And Undy nearly getting a hat-trick there as he drove. Some good work. The fifth would all but certainly kill this one off if it isn't already. So they go long. McEwen will have a tough job to win that one against Kemp, and he flicks it out of play. So Walsh goes to self. He takes it forward. There's Sunday McEwen turning. Did well, gets his shot away, but it was always wide. It was a nice turn from number 14. Got around Brown. Got his shot off, but was never threatening Pearce. Now Brown on the ball. He'll just launch this one. It'll float over all the heads. Walter gives chase, but getting across his hay. A nice foot on it, though, from Walter. Almost made something happen as the ball rolls out of play there. It'll be a throw in to Souths. Ludford goes over the head of Lazinski. Tolkill getting back. Oh, didn't really deal with it that well. Walter could get a cross in near post, but well held by Wright. Safe hands. And he quickly gets it moving again to Tolkill, who lobs one down the line. Thomas will give chase, but Brown always leading back and just uses his strength. Puts himself between Thomas and the ball. Watch it long. This will be kept in by Walter. Flicked on for himself. He'll only get there at a Muller, not quite. Did just enough. And Toghill to Muller. And Thomas missed it. McEwen did well though. Nice work. Oh, well done, Oscar Thomas. Once again, getting a timely foot in. He's been a very composed presence down back today for South Hobart as they look to get in behind Toghill again here through Walter. It's a teasing cross to the centre. Falls for Lazinski. Brings it under control. Will he drive this one? He can't beat right on his near post. Didn't really get the contact he would have liked. But again, some good play. So Walsh goes back to Tyler Harrison. Sherman shifting it out. Ooh, they both go in hard, and the referee's going to have to sort this one out. He produces a slice of cheese against Sherman. He was a little overzealous there. He went in hard, and man, copped the brunt of that one. A fierce coming together, Damien.
We've just learned there Sherman's not scared of a challenge, that's for sure. Came in as a meaty effort. Might have to have another look at that.
Have a look at this. It was a full-blooded challenge. Man takes the ball. Didn't quite bring it under control. He goes for it. He's first to the ball. That's a nasty challenge from Sherman. And a little over the top. He gets a slice of cheese. On another day, he might have got more. As we wait and see how Braden Mann is. Fingers crossed that he's all right. He might have to be subbed off. He's copped that one, Braden Mann. He's still down. Give both teams the opportunity to huddle up here. Fingers crossed for the frontman.
It'd be a big blow if he is to go off. Of course, Sherman probably coming from a different style of football. It looks like there's going to be a change with South Hobart. Oscar Thomas coming off, and on comes Liam Quayle. Bit of a bizarre one for mine.
What about Thomas just about the votes? I think he's been fantastic today, but obviously Kenny Morton, a far better footballing mind than mine, so I won't question that one, but wants to get his fullback on. Obviously, you've got the likes of Lewis and Ludford as your fullbacks. It's pretty easy to just shift one of them centrally, but I thought he had a pretty good game, Thomas. It's an interesting one, especially with Brown with that suspension tightrope. Lewis was coming into this game under a slight injury cloud, so I'm surprised that Thomas is the man to make way. Anyway, Hunt will again look to send one in. This one doesn't match his first half set-piece delivery. It's repelled and falls to Ludford. His pass was scuffed. Not his finest work there. The experienced South Hobart defender. So they look to play their way out, but South Hobart pressing them. And They want the throw. They won't get it, though. Here's Toggill down the line. Brown will get across to deal with this one and wrap his leg around it. He's kept it in, so he's done really well there. Sets the task. And in the end, they're going to win a throw, so well done, Dogger Brown. Keep that one in.
Throws in now for Lazinski. It's nudged inside by Walter, and it's with Undy. He navigates Sherman. He's got Muller on his heels. He's kept the ball, though, until Tyler Harrison sweeps it from under him. Brought wide to Mann. It comes to Lazinski. He tries a shot. Tries to manufacture something on the turn. It's wide and easily collected by Wright, who rolls out for his centre half. Tyler Harrison forward. It's with Walsh. He goes back to Self. Forward now for Sherman. He's had an impact, that's for sure. Forward. Back for Self. It's cut off by Undy. He gives and goes, and now it's with Hunt as they look to burst South Hobart into the bullseye. He picks out Walter. He's got express wheels. Can he use them? Tries to find Lazinski. It bowls back for him. Timely intervention from Toghill. Out against his former teammate now with Lazinski. Tries to get a foot in. Lazinski finds some space to measure a shot. It's cut off well by Tyler Harrison. They're away now, the Zebras. Harrison Thomas on the ball. Goes back for Toghill. Goes forward. It's cut off by Brown. It's with Walter. He gives inside to Kemp, and Undy finds Walter. Walter goes inside. It's cut off by Jaden Hay. He goes forward for Kurt Engels. Kurt Engels does well. Sweeps across in the middle. It's in the bullseye, but Copperell will bring it back.
There's a fair advantage developing there, I would have thought, and the Zebras players quite rightly furious. I don't know why he picked that moment to bring it back, just as it was looking to open up. South Hobart will be relieved with that one. I mean, it really was opening up nicely, so strange decision to bring that one back for mine. The Zebras will get the free kick in their defensive half. South Hobart can get the bodies back that weren't there moments ago. That's right. Looks up. They've got 35 minutes to try and find 3 goals here. A pretty tough challenge at the best of times. Oh, some nice work there, flipping inside. Scything run. And the shot left a lot to be desired. It was a really good run from Ricky Self, but he's let himself down, just opted the long shot. Should have just tried to feed one through there.
Pearce, who delivers long onto the Buddha man. He streams down that left-hand side. Tyler Harrison across to cut it off. And out for a throw-in. Yeah, it was a dynamite run from Ricky Self straight through the Haydill deal of the park. Just cut by a couple of them. Just didn't have the finished product, though, that the Zebras crave. Throwing now. The substitute Quayle. Tosses over the top. The ball's in congestion. Is one out by Sherman. Looks like he's got a bit of mongrel in him. I like the cut of his jib. It's delivered forward from Lewis. Down off the chest of Walter. He delivers well for Hunt, who keeps it alive with a back heel. Tries to square it up. And it's out off Tyler Harrison and out for a corner.
He's had a good game today, Hunt. He's been buzzing about all over the place. He wins the corner here. Walter, too, has been impressive. Of course, Darcy Hall on the bench. The spot on those wings, a fiercely competitive one at South Hobart. If you don't play well, you risk being put on the pine. Hunt has been outstanding today, and his set-piece delivery has been a real highlight, and I've absolutely put the moz on him there because that was his worst of the day. They might get another chance now. Eventually it's seen out of there, and here's Sherman, who turns. He looks strong on the ball, Sherman. He lacked the support there. In the end, he gets a run from Harrison bursting forward, and he finds the ball through to McEwen. Lays it back for Sherman. They're spread well. Can they build from this? They've got the numbers forward. They're cantering forward here is Thomas. He looks up. He's got McEwen in a bit of space in the box. Brown shadowing him. It falls now for Muller. Shifts it out for Engels. Engels running it. Walter gets around him. Now can he deliver? Goes to the back post. He picks out no one. It was Paul from Engels. He beat his man, but again, the end product just not there for the Zebras.
Just watching sort of behind the play, James Sherman, very vocal. He's only fresh into this team. Just I like the look of him.
Just demanding something from his teammates, isn't he?
He looks a little short of breath, though. I got a report that maybe he's a bit short of fitness coming into this one. Interesting to see how he's going. It's long and strong, and Hay brings down. It's with Muller. Shoves it aside for Sherman. Different wavelengths. And it glides by him and out of play for a throw-in. Yeah, Sherman might be a long-term recruit in terms of next season and beyond.
Liked what I've seen from him so far. Add some steel to that midfield. There's Thomas on the ball. Lays it back for Sherman. His pass. He's not out of play. See what he's trying to do. Execution not quite there. And you're quite right. He's very vocal out there, barking the orders about. Not a bad thing.
No, I like it. I think this team needs a bit of voice. Comes forward now for South Hobart. Cut off well by Tyler Harrison with a spin and a turn. He finds Walsh. Gives and goes to Sherman. He goes back to Hay, and maybe they can open up through Muller. They go further wide to Tog Hill. Down the line he goes. Delivers to the feet of Engels. Back for Muller. Out in front of Tog Hill, who's kept running down the left. He's got Engels offering wide. He uses him. It's good distribution from Tog Hill from the byline. He cuts back Engels and earns a corner. Very nearly dropped my laptop for all those at home.
Just slightly overhit from Toggy, but it was a pretty good ball and a lovely overlapping run. Some good work between those two on this left-hand side. They take the corner short. Here's Thomas. Goes out of play, and they get a chance to hopefully not waste the corner by taking it like that. Again, just whip it in, see what South Hobart did in the first half. Although I suppose given the size of South Hobart, I can understand the reluctance for an aerial battle as we see Muller go all the way back. But I think that is my point there. What's the point going all the way back when you've got a good chance to whip across in?
It's a waste of a set piece. You're deep in your forward third. You've got to make the most of that. You've at least got to pose a question of the defence.
If you're going to take it short, at least make sure you get the ball in. You can so it's one thing to change the angle, but when you pass back like that, the possession is no good. You've got to threaten. You down 4-1. You can't pass up a chance to put one into the area, I'd have thought.
Yeah, I'm with you, Drew. As Lewis in the South Hobart defence finds Quayle, the substitute. He just sprays one forward, and Wright will pick it up on the edge of his box. So a little under half an hour for Zebras to try and rescue something from this contest. A point would be handy from the point they're in now. It's tough to see that happening. Just taken down the flank by Ingles, and he earns a throw in. They push forward, more black and white shirts, but there's a fair few South Hobart ones there. Just holding back a little bit, the Zebras. Back for Tog Hill. He whips across in. It's not a bad one. Over the head of Self. Quayle wins it. It's there for a foot race. Trickles out of play and out for a Zebras throw in, so they keep a hold of it. So it'll be Dwayne Walsh to throw it in. He's got McEwen offering short at the edge of 18. He goes a bouncing ball looking for Sherman, and it's out for a corner. So maybe this is the time for the Zebras.
62 minutes tick by. If they are going to make a move, it's probably time they got one back. The longer this goes, the happier South Hobart will be. They're happy to just grind this out. They've done the damage. So the cross comes in. It's a dangerous area, but the tall timber was there for South. The rebound is driven. Took a little touch, so it'll be another corner. And Zebra's threatening here. It wasn't the worst effort as we see Thomas play it in. The size McEwen up against Lazinski and Brown. Well, good luck. But the rebound fell to Muller. Had a hit. Too far wide. They get another chance here through Thomas. Again, but South Hobart with the numbers, and it just floats harmlessly behind. And it'll be a goal kick this time, so nothing comes of it. And it is tough for them in the air against the big aerial presence. Brown, Lazinski off against McEwen. So Pearce just plays it in short. And plenty of space is Kemp. Straight down the middle. He's turned it over though to Walsh. And back the other way to Self. What can Ricky Self do? He looks to take on Quayle. He's running at him, and he's surely fouled. Advantage paid, now to be brought back, and that might be a slice of cheese too. It is. Some clever play there from Self. Just got the better of the fullback. Got inside. And there's clear contact, and a good chance now at the set piece for Zebras. And they work something. Find a way back into this game. Yep. 5-6 men to aim for in the box here. What can Ricky Self do? He earned the free kick with some fancy footwork. Can he pick out a target? Big Sherman looming in there, and he wins the header onto the post. He might get the rebound. Lazinski was there, and Sherman almost making an immediate impact here. The referees decided it's a goal kick. Sherman rising highest. It was a cracking header that had Pearce beaten. Didn't beat the post though. Good delivery from Ricky Self. In the end, yeah, Lazinski and Thomas going for that one, and I think the refs made the right decision. I think he's suggesting he was over the line when the last touch was. But just a good spell here for the first time in a while for Zebras. South Hobart with a pretty comfortable lead. Not having to do too much, but last 15 minutes Zebras have been a lot better. Coming from a long way back though was Campo, dangerous, and South Hobart's insistence on playing these short little passes centrally. Almost catching him undone there. They did rather broadcast that. Danger averted though. Here's Hunt. He's run at defenders well all day, and he continues forward unchallenged and just chips one expertly for Lazinski, who cuts it back across the face where he had nobody waiting. Oh, it was a brilliant move, Hunt, as he has all day, just wreaking havoc there. It was a good ball for Lazinski. No one was in the area for him. It was all too easy going forward there. No pressure applied to Hunt. South Hobart very nearly making it 5. He'll wander over to take the set piece again. Well and truly been one of the better players on the park today, Chris Hunt, the wing commander, as he whips another one in. And Dogger Brown again, getting his head on that one. And they're going to get another opportunity. It took a deflection, so another set piece. This one bobbling off the head of Muller. And I'd imagine Hunt will just do exactly what he's done there, just sit it to the middle and let his big centre backs get at it, because they have just had their number all day in this area. They've at least started manning up the Zebras, unlike in the first half, but hard enough to stop them when you do man up, as Hunt whips this one in and it's flicked on over the back, and that will go for a goal kick this time. They can relieve the pressure.
Yeah, Hunt's delivery's been just sumptuous today. Couple of assists, and then they've got these big tall frames to pick out in there and throw their weight around. They time their runs so well, and Zebras have just struggled to get a hold of it. This is played forward from right, beyond halfway. They collide. It's Quayle and Walsh. Quayle wins out as Walsh tips it out of play off his head. Thrown now. Down the line it goes from Quayle. Man wins acrobatically, but it falls straight for Hay. Oh, he's in trouble now. Oh, he finds a way out of it. Finds Sherman. Sherman from right to left picks out angles. Flicks on with a header. It's there for McEwen. He's bustled into by Brown. A pretty clear-cut foul.
Yeah, felt the contact. Hit the deck. He was always going to there. He used his body well, the little man up against the big man. Have a look at the replay and just making the absolute most of that one Sunday.
He was, but it was there. But Brown looked down at him with a bit of disgust. So stand up. So here we go again. Hey, we've seen he's dangerous from the set piece. It's Engels who takes it. Curling ball in. It's off the head of Tyler Harrison, still alive. South Hobart can scurry it out through Quayle. Down the line it goes. Man lets it run. And just glides along the line and out of play. So South Hobart escape. Just more or less inviting a bit of pressure on them. I think South Hobart, although they still look pretty good, they're just not quite playing at the level we saw in the first half. As it's pumped forward by right. Quayle brings down Kemp. Chests. Forward for Hunt. Or Hay wins it. But it's back the other way quickly. They're under the pump, the Zebras. Tyler Harrison gets it clear for Self. Drops it off for Walsh. Walsh loses it, so Self wins it back. Plays back for Tyler Harrison, who outside of the set-piece agony for the Zebras, they've been okay in the back. It's played forward now. Bobbles up on man. He controls. Well, not all that convincingly. He has a cut off in the end, and Muller turns out to the right and finds Sherman. Can they break away the Zebras? Options inside and down the line. Goes to Walsh. Walsh lets it run. Quayle rise to the situation. Plays forward. Finds Hunt. He's attacking half. It's good delivery. Looking for Mann. It's cut off by Hay, but he's left it there for Mann. Mann on the edge of the 18. Drops it off into the centre, looking for the run of Undy. He can steady him, potentially shoot. He takes a touch and fires. It's a team effort and easily collected by Wright.
Not the effort you'd expect from a man on a hat-trick. I thought he would have just smashed the laces through that one, Undy, but perhaps he's better off with the ball on his head, as evidenced by today so far.
As Thomas switches out to Sherman, down the line he goes. McEwen touches. It's a decent one for Sherman again, who's just about being their best in this half. Plays forward for Harrison Thomas. He comes at it late, and South Hobart will clear. Hugh Ludford with a few choice words to his former teammate. Forward for Muller. Muller lets it run. Walter cuts it off, and South Hobart in possession now. Lewis plays out to the vacant spaces out on this right-hand side. Calling for runners. Mann makes it a contest, does well to win. And win it he does. Toghill has a bit to say after, and he might just enter the book here, Toggers. Just a talking to from Brenton Copra.
Brilliant from Hugh Ludford at the other end. So he left his man Engels. He could see what was opening up. He took the risk. He left Engels all on his own, but he impacted the contest and shut it down. That's what you got to do if you're going to leave Engels in that kind of space. But you could see it was opening up. Pretty handy fullback to have coming across the cover is Hugh Ludford.
So it's a throw-in now for South Hobart. Hugh Ludford to toss this one in. Right in front of the South Hobart bench. Down the line it goes. It's cut off from Toghill. High. And out of play again. So they just inch forward here, South Hobart.
Darcy Hall being prepared to enter the fray.
Rex Hunt, Chris Hunt, early substitution might just stand in the way of 3 votes from him. He's been superb. Off he goes.
A warm round of applause is Hunt there. Fans, you're appreciating his efforts today, and why not? He's been outstanding. As for the votes, well, yeah, well, the game's over with 20 minutes to go. I think he's got a fair case today. As the wing commander, he was outstanding. As South Hobart push here, as Undy charging into the box, but he couldn't get round Toghill. Darcy Hall on and immediately impacting some fast feet. Lazinski looked to flick it back. They can't deal with it. Turning, and was he fouled? He was. A dangerous area was Mann, so a set piece in a prime area was received for Zebras. Cameroonian international just doing some rather intense warming up out there, but getting pretty late to make an impact if he is going to come on now.
Yeah, strange. I would have thought maybe you bring him on. Just change things up a little bit. Prized recruit. Anyway, for about 20 yards they'll take this one. Lazinski and Mann over it. They hold a conference. I think Mann's eyeing this one off Drewster. I think he's got his eye on a second. A wall of 5 ahead of him. Mann steps up, fires into it. It's still alive. Hay can clean up, and he does so. Sees it out for a throw-in deep in attack for South Hobart. We see this one again. Mann just cans it straight into Harrison Thomas, or is it Sherman? Harrison Thomas. And Zebras scurry clear. So time, a major enemy for the Zebras here. The game really getting away from them if it wasn't already. As Hugh Ludford tosses in. It's a good long throw. Hay brings down, and Engels just pumps clear. Long into the bullseye. Lewis meets it. It's there for an aerial contest, won by Walter. Hall bustles in against Sherman. Comes to Walsh. Puts it out in front of Self, and Quayle's there first and sees it out for South Hobart. A throw-in for the Zebras. They've got to get moving, Drewster.
Yeah, it's kitchen sink time, you think. They've played better this half, but 3 goals. At the end of the day, there's not much difference between a 6-1 loss and a 4-1 loss.
I've just seen Hay gesture to his Cameroonian import, the sub signal. So I think we're about to see Guy Buele come to the fold.
Yeah, just stick him in the middle to see if you can make something happen, I reckon. But it'd be a fair rabbit to be pulled out of the hat at this stage if they're going to see anything other than a South Hobart victory with a 4-1 lead, and they've looked quite comfortable in that lead, despite Zebras playing better in this half. It's not had a lot of real moments of quality in attack. As Walsh throws in for Self. Had some bright patches today, Self, but he's been unable to make anything really happen. Well read by Dan Brown, been outstanding in the heart of defence today, and he'll have to track back here and get McEwen. Well covered by Lewis, and they repel that with a minimum fuss, and they'll just chip it forward to Big Lazinski, who flicks on. It's been a real theme of their play today, Undy charging forward. It really does add another dimension. They've looked such a better side, South Hobart, with Lazinski and Mann up top together. So it gives you two approaches. You can play it more direct through the air, or you can hit the feet of Mann.
And if it weren't for injury, they'd have one in Ben Hamlet to also bring in. Just make you quake in your boots, I reckon. Zebras, Guy Buelle on his way. It'll be interesting to see where he slots in. For mine, I think we might even see Adam McEwen come off. Sherman on the ball now. Breezes by one in. Kemp lays off for Harrison Thomas. He's got Brown to contend with. Gets it by him, but gives it straight to Ludford. Ludford pumps along and strong, and Hay cuts off ahead of Mann. Mann will come across to retrieve it now from the byline. Hay makes sure of it. Sees it out for a corner.
Yeah, well done by Mann, winning the corner. That's all he wanted. He got what he wanted out of that. Very cleverly done. So I'm ticking by now into the final 15. South Hobart in absolutely no rush to take this corner, as you wouldn't be. So they might have got the new import Zebras, but the loss today might well be far too late for them.
There's still a Victory Cup to play for, Drewster, and I think they might have had that in mind as it comes to Ludford at the edge of the box.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
He powers a shot that curls over the bar.
Certainly expect them, if they do meet South in the Victory Cup, to put in a better show than they did today.
So it looks like there's going to be a change. So looks like Guy
Self coming off, I think.
Guy Buelle on, Ricky Self off. What will the big guy bring to the table?
Wearing the number 10 on his shirt. And he's wandering into the defensive half. So interesting to see what the change is. Looks like he's going to go into the middle of the park. And Muller goes short and lay it back for Hay, and here's Tolkill. He'll go back to Hay. Sharp little first touch there for the Cameroonian. It's launched along by right onto the head of Kemp, who just not out of play. So Guy Buelle might get involved here as he presents. It'll take a fair effort to pull them out of this hole, though, 4-1 down.
It'd be a real robbery if they somehow get something out of this game, Zebras. They've been second best for mine. And if they were to rescue something from it, it would take some heroics from Guy Buelle. As Harrison Thomas wins in midfield, but only down for a South Hobart player in Walter, who finds Undy, gives and goes to Mann. Hay on the ball now. Buelle at his back, he delivers forward looking for Sherman. It's cut off from Brown, delivers through. Flicked on by Lazinski, flicked further by Mann. Comes to Hall, who fires a fishing drive wide of the right upright. We see that again, some nice flicking.
Just some lovely work from the front two there. Both Mann and Lazinski, lovely little flick-ons. It came to Hall in space, and he thought maybe might have just taken a touch and driven into the box, as we've seen him do on a number of occasions, but absolutely was there to be hit. Poor contact in the end. There's plenty of space at the back now. There's Asmin for a lot of the half with Zebras pushing on. Surprised Souths haven't broken through here. It's been a more competitive second half, and the damage well and truly done in the first half, with just the inability to mark them at set pieces looking like it's going to be the difference in this game. As Muller wins the ball in midfield and will give it back to Thomas. He goes for McEwen, but Lewis read that well. The back four has been fantastic for South Hobart. They've intervened just in time on a number of occasions. As here's Walsh looking to get forward, but giving a real contest there was Quayle, and he puts it out of play, drawing some warm applause from the crowd here. He's fighting hard don't want to leave the door ajar for a possible comeback, but you got to say that door is looking pretty shut. There's not a heap of energy out there from Zebras. They've looked a little bit flat after a pretty good effort to start the half. They've lacked the impetus later in this half.
Flows attack. Hay in possession now, delivers wide, looking for Walsh. It's won by Quayle with a bit of gusto, runs forward, plays for Lazinski. Flicked over the top from Walter, just miscues the effort. Gives it to Tyler Harrison, who's looking for Sherman. He's got Dan Brown hot on his heels again. We might see Buello's quality here as he wins the ball in midfield. Goes back to the defence. A few people getting excited about the Cameroonian. Looking so casual in midfield. He's looking a bit proppy even. Wonder whether that little effort took something out of him. Right on the ball now as he goes outside of his box. Pumps along looking for Engels. Over his head, it's won by Ludford, but it's won again by Engels, but illegally, says Copra. And it's a foul against Zebras number 11.
Yeah, just a little elbow in the back.
Pretty soft.
Not to Copra's liking, apparently. It was just two fairly solid lads going for the ball in my book. But anyway, they launch it long, and Lazinski flicks on. Will it fall for man? No, Walsh got a timely foot in to deny the front man a chance. But it'll be yet another corner. How many is that for today, Damien? It'll be building up. A ninth and 16 for the day. Both teams have had their chances. It's just really poor defensive setups from Zebras in the first half on them that will prove the difference today, really.
Yeah, I think so. As this one's delivered in from Walter to the front post. They're scrambling. They're all over the shop, the Zebras.
Slipped. Right hit the deck.
We'll watch
just the lack of footing from him, you'll see.
He just loses his feet here and takes a tumble, does right.
Right at the moment, you don't want to be falling over.
Oh, he's just lucky there's no red and blue shirts waiting at the back post. They could have finished that off easily. They escape a nervy moment, the Zebras. They drove along through right, looking for McEwen. It's won by Quayle well. And Spoile on the ball now, plays forward for right. In for Buele again. He flicks on down the right, different wavelengths again. Buele's trying to fire up the troops with a couple of claps. I don't think he's big on English. They're throwing now down the line from Quayle. Lazinski flicks inside. Walter helps it further, and it's with Undy, who's been superb. This is exactly that. Finds man. Just dinks out for Hall. Hall and Hay collide. Of course, former teammates, and Hay does really well. Plays back for right. Been a bit shaky this afternoon. Gives this one straight to South Hobart from Kemp to Mann, and Mann loses it with some good body pressure coming from Hay. One of very few players that can give themselves a tick this afternoon, I think, for the Zebras, as Lewis wins away from McEwen. Played forward from Lewis. He gives it straight to Buele. All sorts of time and space. Uses it well. Finds Walsh. Looks inside for Thomas. It's McEwen who somehow wins it. Plays forward looking for the run of Walsh again. It's swept clear by Lewis. One from Buele again. Flicks back to the defence. He's looked pretty tidy.
Look, I reckon he fit nicely into that defensive midfield role for Zebras. Just shielding the back four, and certainly looks very confident on the ball.
It doesn't look like losing it when he's got it. I won't say he moves around with any great haste, but cool, calm, collected, and has a bit of quality about him. He's flicked on by Sherman,
Speaking of quality,
he's held back from Lewis, so it'll be a set piece in a dangerous area, and you can see Jaden Hay charging forward. He's got his name on this one.
Pearce standing very much in the middle of the goals this time, though. You don't think he'll be in a rush. Sherman, he's also staying over the ball, perhaps just suggesting, well, I played a big part in winning that one. Let me take it, Jaden. But, mind you, pulling rank here.
Here we are. Well,
I think international football allows you to pull rank in the Victory League.
I couldn't find too much vision of Guy Buele on YouTube. I found one clip from Sarawak. He cracked a free kick from about 20 yards. This one he cracks, but it's straight into the wall. He's now in a foot race with a much younger Darcy Hall. Wins the ball, and it tips out of play. That was rather underwhelming.
It was. I think Hay very much went, well, international player, probably can pull rank on me as he tries a spectacular volley, but lovely work here from Undy. What a game he's played. Absolutely outstanding. 2 goals. He's been at the centre of everything for them, and they can't get the ball off him here. Almost fed Lazinski, and it was well cut out by Muller. Engels back the other way now.
I tell you what, Drews, this game would have been really interesting if it wasn't for that 14 minutes of absolutely dire football from the Zebras. Outside of that, it's been a contest.
Yeah, it really has. Whether South Hobart would have played in this exact same manner if they weren't sitting on such a lead is up for debate, but certainly it has been a good even contest after the start, and really it was a start we weren't expecting. We know that Zebras have been a little bit susceptible to early goals, but not to that extent, and they really have undone themselves. They've been their own worst enemies. South Hobart's attacking play has been really good, but they've really made their bed that they've got a lie in here, Zebras. There's Pearce just taking his time here, turning the shoe up with the gloves back on. He's in no rush. His job well done as far as they're concerned. And again, they go short to Kemp. And it might cost him. Pearce is going to recover it as he does. He gets out ahead of Sherman, but still a chance. McEwen from range, blocked. Thomas tries there.
We need a replay. I think Pearce gave away a blatant pen
that
for me.
Seemed like he was a long way away from the ball for mine.
I think he's given away a blatant pen, and Copper hasn't caught this. So he's won the ball. No, he won the ball. He won the ball.
Perfect.
Fair play to him.
Perfect challenge, in fact. All ball.
An apology to Kane Pearce.
I'm going to say, though, that is the third or fourth time today they've tried that short pass straight down the guts to Kemp and got themselves in trouble as Walsh bombs forward here with a late opportunity for Zebras. But it happened last time, and they nearly turned it over. They've gone there again, and that move could not be more broadcast. The two Zebras boys were on it in a heartbeat. I think they just might want to rethink that short pass down the middle. It's not worked at all well for them today. South Hobart is Brown looking to read that one on Thomas, but he just calmly took it and shifted it outright to the Cameroonian, who just looks to slide back on, but didn't see Lazinski on his back shoulder, who was there, and now the ball over the top is cut out by Hay before man could be played in. And Hay, he just leads him out of defence. He's been good today. Gets it to Walsh, who typically has spent a lot of the day playing as a right winger, the fullback. He really looks to bomb on. That's a good challenge. And it makes its way to Undy. Undy goes to Lazinski. Receives back now and just take his time with it. Waits for support. Cuts back in here. Here's Darcy Hall now. Onto the right. Looks to place one in there for man. He couldn't. Sliding in was Undy, but Tolkill beat him to the ball. He gets it out now to Engels. He goes direct, and it was a poor pass. Ludford was all over it. No threat at all for South Hobart. And Ludford just plays it out off Engels and we'll get the throw. Just a minute's ticking by. We're just about done here at Darcy Street. A very successful day for South Hobart. They keep themselves in the title race. The Zebras, you'd have to say, are pretty well out of it now. It's going to be pretty tough to see them making up 9 points over the final 6 games. As man tried again, one of those clever little flicks. Didn't come off that time. Here's Tyler Harrison now charging forward for Zebras. Can they find a late consolation marker? They won't get him behind Quayle, and he's put in a really determined shift at the fullback, and I suppose with such a tough, real battle to get into the South Hobart starting lineup, he's got to showcase what he can do in these limited spells from the bench. He's been a man who started quite a bit, but with the likes of Ludford getting back and Oscar Thomas really showing plenty of promise, it's going to be tough to get a starting spot.
It is indeed.
We see man charging forward.
He plays in
Darcy
to Hall
Hall
at the edge of the box. Hall wraps his boot around it. It's wide, well wide, and out to the right. So Zebras, this one's got away from them, Drewster.
It has. They came here knowing the stakes. They knew everything was to play for, and they didn't show up till about half an hour into the game. And that's going to cost them. They absolutely brought it on themselves. South Hobart, they were here for the contest. They were up for it. And they've done the job. They've kept the pressure on Olympia and just set us up for a big few weeks in the Victory League. Next week, Olympia plays Zebras. That is a real danger game. South Hobart then play Olympia themselves in a few weeks, which could well be the title decider. As Engels might get on the end of this one. Can he volley it? He's brought it under control, but he couldn't get around Lewis. And again, the back four of South Hobart's been outstanding. And a foul on Welle. Apparently, he's gone down rather dramatically.
He's gone down like he's just been sniped. And there's a sniper.
Whack. Touch, and
oh, my Lord. Oh, my lordy lord. What on earth? That was not a foul. That was in no way a foul. I don't know whether Buele just felt like a nap or something, or because he has got nothing from Kempe. That would be the slightest of contact, and he's just gone down for a little kip.
That's the old, he's gone past me, I'll hit the deck and see if I can get a decision.
Well,
and he did.
Fair play to him, it's worked.
It's worked, a treat.
The weirdest thing in all of it is Buele looks in a bit of strife.
Oh, you got to sell it properly. You got to sell it properly.
Yeah, good point.
He might, maybe it was something off them. No contact, maybe he landed on it, I don't know.
Yeah, it could have been the fact that maybe he felt a twinge or something and went down as it's delivered long from Hay. It's won by Pearce, but there for Engels. Traps it down on the edge of the box. Nips by Ludford from the byline. Looks to bring it under his spell. Can't, as it runs out of play and out for a goal kick.
Yeah, so nothing coming from that attack for the Zebs. As Buele comes back on, so he's all right. Does look a little bit proppy, but certainly if there was any injury from that, it wasn't due to the contact. Here's Ludford now for Souths, as they look to finish the job off. Get a fifth. It's a long ball over the top. We've seen a heap of that in the second half, and the speed of man to get in behind isn't quite enough on this occasion. They will get the corner, though. We've seen a very direct approach, and with a 4-goal lead and Zebras pushing numbers on, it's made complete sense to get it up there to Mann and Lazinski quickly. They've given them real headaches. They might take this one short and eat up some more time as Undy and Alex Walter go across to it. They've given them real trouble with the direct ball in. But the game is pretty well done, so it's going to be Walter who goes the set-piece routine here to play it in short to Ludford, and then he tried to whip one in. It was pretty poor though. Here's McEwen. He's had a tough day. He's been in the pocket of the opposition centre-backs, you have to say, that Brown and Thomas have really had his number all day.
Touched him right. I think Brown's had a superb game, really. I think since Sherman has sort of dropped in up top, Brown's had his number as well. There's been a couple of little instances where Sherman's looked to do things, but Brown's been stellar back there as the throwing comes in from Quayle to Lazinski, another stellar player. He drops it off for Undy. Get another winner. And it's with Ludford. He's got Engels. He plays by him and looks for Lazinski. Lazinski just looks to milk the clock a little. The former Zebra. Oh, he's given it up. Engels tries to keep it alive, but the line beats him and is out for a throw-in. We're well and truly in added time, Drewster. This one is done and dusted. After such an action-packed opening half with 5 goals, it looks like that's all we're going to see, unless there's a sealer here for South Hobart as the throw-in comes in from Ludford, flicked on by Lazinski and out for another South Hobart corner. Yeah,
Zebs have been a lot better in this second half, but never good enough that you ever thought they were going to get back into this game. It's been pretty comfortable for South Hobart. They've been the better side today. They've been very professional in the way they've gone about in the second half. They were utterly clinical early. They took full advantage of the defensive frailties of Hobart. They made it count. They got the goals to underlie their dominance, and they might get a fifth at the end here. Cleared off the line by Walsh, and then the follow-up from Ludford is volleyed well wide. So well done, Dwayne Walsh, stopping that one off the line as man looked to put a cherry on top of today's performance and get a fifth. Again, they win. Again, they win at the set piece. All day, they have looked frail from set pieces. It's going to be something they've got to work on as the ball's whipped in towards Darcy. All chests it down and thumped out of there by Hay. They don't want to concede a fifth. And South Hobart, they'll be very happy with this win. They keep within touch of Olympia. The title race is still on. They can't afford any slip-ups, and they've got the job done today in what was one of the tougher remaining fixtures they had. The Zebra as well. It's probably over for them now. They'll be looking to build for the Victory Cup at the end of the year. It's their league hopes, you'd have to say, are in tatters now. Yeah, they're done and dusted. It's the... but they'll be looking, knowing Zebras as they are, they'll be looking to do South Hobart a favour next week and try and rob some points of Olympia. Because although seemingly it's over for them, they'll still want to upset everyone ahead of them. It's all about winning those remaining games as well. Yeah, they might have knocked them off today, but they'll certainly be looking for a big favour from them next week, won't they, South Hobart? If you look at Olympia's remaining fixtures, that's one of the ones that stand out and go, they could be vulnerable there. They could drop points in that one. But there were no dropping of points for South Hobart today. They get the job done in a very professional manner. 4-1, it was just mayhem defending set pieces for Zebras. South Hobart, comprehensive victors, the score ending as it was at the end of the first half. They cut the gap back to 5 points at the top of the Victory League. They'll be happy with the result today. A brace for Undy. Got the ball rolling early on, and really the game looked as done as dusted. After 15 minutes, Zebras improved as it went on, but they never looked like they were going to get anything out of this one today, Gilly.
Yeah, they improved in the second half, but they couldn't make headway in the contest or the scoreline. South Hobart far too good here at their home deck of Darcy Street. The damage was done early with 3 goals in the opening 14 minutes. And from there, Zebras were powerless to claw their way back into this contest, and indeed, as a result, the title race is beyond them now, but South Hobart charge on. They now keep that 5-point gap with Olympia, and they remain the real title hopeful outside of the ladder leaders. We're looking to keep the heat on them next week. They've got a tricky task of travelling north up to Valley Road. They'll be looking to take all 3 points, and then, as we said, on Sunday, Olympia take on Zebras in a battle of the traditional rivals. That could be a chance for South Hobart to make up some points on those table toppers, Olympia, who have been outstanding all season. Let's look through the highlights now, Drewster. There's the opener. Braden Mann just fired the shot in, and it was chaos at the back post, and Undy was there to nudge it home, just away from Harrison Thomas, who was desperate on the line, trying to get it out of the danger zone. So South Hobart open then. The second was Undy again, wasn't it, Drew?
Yeah, beautiful delivery from the wing commander, but you've got a man in prime real estate there, probably the most dangerous area to defend. The keeper rightly outraged. Hugh Undy just bobs up in the space, and he still had a lot to do. It was a really good header.
It was.
Into the corner. Credit to him for that. His second, a real opportunistic opening at 2-0. Everyone was a little bit shell-shocked, and then Braden Mann from the spot made it 3-0. It was a clinical penalty. I challenge you to find a keeper who would have stopped that one. That was really put away with authority. And 3-0 after 14 minutes. South Hobart from then on just could do what they wanted.
This was a rare highlight from the Zebras. Real clever stuff from Jaden Hay. Loved it from him. He was probably one of very few Zebra players that can hold their heads high and say they had a good afternoon. Here we see again the wing commander's expert delivery. And it's over the head of Tyler Harrison. Dan Brown charges in with authority and just nudges it home.
It's in out of his teammate, who's also unmarked.
Yeah, exactly right. Diabolical defending, and that's how South Hobart charged ahead. And from there, they were never headed. They just cruised home to a victory in the second half, holding on to a 3-goal advantage. And now the title race is down to 2.
Yep, I think we can safely say that. It's going to be tough for Olympia to be headed, but 5 points in 6 rounds, certainly not insurmountable. They play each other in a few weeks, and that will be huge. Fancy South Hobart are going to have to win that game. Obviously need results to go their ways in other games. Next week will be a pivotal week, though, with South Hobart with a very difficult road trip up to Valley Road, and Olympia playing Zebras. We'll know a lot about how the season will end next week, I think.
We will indeed. Do join us then, as we will bring you both those action-packed games across the weekend, live and uninterrupted on sliceofcheese.net. We hope you've enjoyed today's coverage. Zebras fans, maybe you didn't quite enjoy the coverage or the performance from your team. South Hobart reign supreme 4-1. Charge on in this title race with Olympia FC Warriors. Join us next week with all the action. Bye for now.